Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about showing ownership. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, should a software engineer start fixing every issue that is preventing the team from progressing in order to show ownership? Nope. That's gonna be what a very annoying philosopher programmer does, or someone who is fairly new will do in order to impress everybody, and that's also a very annoying person. To me, at the very least, it's a very annoying person because there is a sort of a way, like a elegant way to help and be helpful and be appreciated without doing this. In my world, it's very similar to if you come into somebody's house and you start cleaning their house for them. If you just start doing that willy-nilly without showing some tact and grace and so forth, it's gonna come off as you sort of like you're gonna get a bad reaction even if you're just trying to help, right? And the same thing is true here, because what you have to understand is that most software teams have a work process. You've probably heard about agile work practices and things like that. So there is a way that practically every company prioritizes work. And unless you have the freedom to basically do whatever the fuck you want, in which case, yeah, go for it, and it doesn't matter what you do, you should, instead of just starting to fix things in order, especially just to show ownership, you should approach the problem this way. So usually there is a backlog of stories of some sort, and rather than go and just do whatever you want, try to figure out how things work in this specific team, or like how you do things, and then try to ask how they want to receive suggestions. That's usually a good start. How would they like you to suggest things? And usually that comes in the format of creating a story or something like that. And then you do this very simple thing where you go through your code and you write down the things that you think could be pretty interesting to improve. You don't make them into stories just yet. And then you ask your coworkers if this is intended to work this way and why it's working this way. You ask a few simple questions related to the improvement that you would like to make, or rather the area where things are possible to improve, if that makes sense. And then you see if they think that this is a problem, or if it's intended, or you feel the waters a little bit, and then you can create a story for it, and then hopefully it's gonna get prioritized. This is the boring, like ad hoc way of getting things done. The difference is sort of the difference between being a young revolutionary type of person who tries to change the world through music or violence and things like that, and being a boring old bureaucrat who does it by the book. That is sort of what you're looking at here, but in this scenario, being the bureaucrat is usually better, because if you don't do it, it's very likely that people are going to start thinking it's a little bit weird that, especially the software developers, where you sort of just do whatever you want. Everybody else is contributing towards the current priorities of the team and the company, and you just, like what, sit and fix unit tests or something like that. And as for showing ownership, guys, this is the biggest misconception, in my opinion, at the very least, there is. Showing ownership is sort of, it's really one of those terms where it's like religious people who say that you are not committed to the cause or something like that, where it's a term that we throw out when somebody's doing something that we don't think is right, when they don't show enough commitment, and that you should show ownership, you should feel more ownership. What it really means, the real actual thing that ownership is about, is that you care about doing a good job. because I can show ownership in so many ways. It really comes down to how do you want to define it. And some managers will use it as an excuse to force people to work extra hours, or some people will use it as, like, I've been in companies where it's borderline a cult, where you will get actual consequences, social consequences, and others in some cases as well, if you are not committed enough. If the company if your boss says that, hey, well, you know what, we're gonna do like an all-night hackathon thing, and we're gonna order some pizza, and you don't get paid for this either, but we're gonna have so much fun together, we're gonna work on this project that is so interesting, and I go, no, I actually would prefer to, not get paid in pizza, and I have things to do after work. And then you're not showing ownership, you're not committed, you're a naysayer, you're all of these sorts of things, right? If you get these sorts of things going your way, be strong enough to say, go and fuck yourself and go and do your own thing. That's my suggestion. Or cave and just follow the pack. But ownership is not about doing that. And it really is, as I said, it's really down to you being interested in doing a good job. The times when I see people not quote-unquote have ownership is when they don't give a fuck about the project. They don't write any tests, they don't answer if the support is needed. They have an attitude where, oh, somebody else is going to take care of it. I'm just going to sit here and do my own thing, and I don't care if things are on fire in production. When you can very clearly see that you have to basically force your software developers to do everything, because they will not voluntarily do things, they will not try to contribute without being told to do things. And if they are told to, if that's the way they run things, you're going to see a failure, because you can't. It's it's very difficult to have a healthy, well-functioning team if nobody really wants to do anything besides the bare minimum. So what I want you to take away from this is that no, you should not just start willy-nilly fixing all the things that are preventing the team from progressing in order to show ownership. You should talk to your team and you should check what seems to be improvements that you can make, and then you should ask them, how do you want to address these things, because some things they might not care about, and some things they will care about. And usually the way to go here is just to talk to people and then add stories to do that work and see if you can get it prioritized so you can fix it in the correct way, if that makes sense. The way that people feel comfortable with, usually. Or if you're really lucky, they say, yeah, go and fix it right away. And showing ownership, guys, is not the same. It's not about proving your loyalty or proving your commitment to the company. It's stupid to think in those terms, and only religious people and people who try to exploit other people use that as a benchmark for how worthy you are of what you're of your job. The way to really show ownership is to care about that things go well. And that means writing tests, it means answering questions to stakeholders, it means helping your coworkers when they're stuck or something like that, doing code reviews in a timely manner, making sure that things run smoothly. That's all it really is down to. Have a great day.